What's going on, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of my revised, updated guide on Super Vegeta Baby 2. Now, in this video, I'll be going over my personal custom build for the guy, as well as the many tech combos that I know with him. Because I didn't go into that in the part 1 of the guide for one reason. And that's because of the fact that his custom variation really doesn't add much any more tech that he didn't have access to already. The tech that I'm able to perform in his custom variation is the same as what I'm able to do in his base variation. The only difference is that he can do it more efficiently in this variation because of his new skills. This one, for example, and this one in particular. But I will not be going over what I did in the other video. So if you have not watched it, please go and watch part 1 before watching this video. I will not go over what I did in that video again. But for those who did watch it, please watch ahead and enjoy. Now, I will first go over the personal build I went with. First off, I went with Speed Type B as the stat allocation because he was already a fairly fast character. He was about mid-speed, but now he's like kind of ridiculous with Speed Type B. It actually is kind of stupid how fast he gets. It also makes his guard incredibly fast, because for those of you who didn't know, guarding is actually dependent on your movement speed. If you have really fast movement speed, your guard is going to be faster as well. Like the initial animation, the frames actually are much more generous whenever you're faster. And then the Super Soul I have for him is the same Super Soul that he always has. Don't think I'm the same as before. It activates when you're near death, which gives you a very large damage increase. The skills I have for him, I have Variant Drive, Handy Cannon, Revenge Final Flash, and Destructive Ray. All I did really was get rid of Maximum Charge and Reverse Shot. And Reverse Shot, as you all know, if you watched the first video, part 1, I mentioned that that skill is not good. That skill is actually quite bad, outside of a few tech setups. Handy Cannon, however, and Destructive Ray are fantastic skills. And for the ultimates, I have his original Revenge Death Ball skill, and Super Gallic Gun. And the reason I chose Super Gallic Gun is not because it's the best option. I chose it simply because it fits the character. Because if you all didn't know, for those of you who have not watched Dragon Ball GT, Super Baby 2 actually is the one that originally made this technique. The Super Gallic Gun, or the Super Gallic Go is one of Super Baby 2's techniques. He uses it against Goku in his Great Ape form. So this attack actually originates from this character. It doesn't come from Vegeta. So it actually fits this character a lot more than it does on Vegeta. And the evasive I have is Instant Rise for obvious reasons, because it's the best evasive in the game, arguably, alongside evasives like Armored, like what is that? It's called, I think it's called Punisher Guard now. It used to be called Vanisher Guard, but it's called Punisher Guard now. It's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's evasive, and Armored Boost are the other ones. Also, Spirit Explosion's also pretty good. But now let's get into the reasons I chose these skills. Variant Drive, I chose it because of the cancel, and because of just the fact that it's so versatile and how it can be used. Very technical skill, and it has a buff whenever I'm near death. It's just good overall because it gives me extra loops, of course. It also gives me a way to bait Limit Burst if I want, as I mentioned in the first video. But Handy Cannon, I chose this because just plain and simple. It's a ridiculously good skill. I'm seriously surprised this hasn't been nerfed into oblivion. Like, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter because you can do this. I can just hold my stick forward and loop this. Watch. Like, just look at how stupid that is. It's also stupid because this actually slows your stamina recovery down when you're hit by it. Oh, and I did forget to mention in the first video, Revenge Final Flash actually does the exact same thing. If you've broken your opponent's stamina, look at how much that slows it down. The Handy Cannon's able to do the exact same thing, but it's able to do it whenever your opponent hasn't been broken yet. So I'm able to do this, for example. And just stack on damage before I even stamina break you. Look at that. Freaking ridiculous. It also is very good for catching people after you back hit because of that blast that he unleashes. It just gives you a good shotgun blast to catch them if they're trying to sidestep around you and escape your back hit. Especially if you charge it. If you charge your back hit and if they sidestep your charged back hit, you could catch them with the Handy Cannon because he can immediately cancel into super attacks after his back hit. In Revenge Final Flash, I chose it because it's just a very good skill, as I mentioned in the first video. And Destructive Ray, I chose it because, once again, it gives him access to new loops that he... Well, not really new. You could do this with Variant Drive, but it was a lot more tedious to perform. It just makes this loop a lot easier to do. Like I said, the skills that I chose for him just enhance what he could already do. That's all they do. See? Like, I could go into something like this if I wanted to. With this setup. Look at that. Look at how much damage I got off before I actually stamina broke him. This makes him be able to just keep you in the combo for so long, man, before he actually stamina breaks you. He just has the most ridiculous standing loops in the game, right alongside characters like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, except Baby can just melt you. My dude could straight up just melt you in the blink of an eye with this setup. And this isn't even the highest damaging setup that you could use. Speed type I'm only using because of how fast it is, which is what he was severely lacking. I mean, well, not really what he was lacking, but it does make him able to move a lot easier than he normally could. But just look at that. Just look at that. It's insane. But that's it for that. Now I'll show you that. Now I'll show you the combos that I use for his Super Galligan. If they do not have stamina to vanish, you can get it after this. Just like Full Power Energy Wave. You can get it after this as well. And after this string too. Now this is just my personal preference, everybody, so just keep that in mind. He does have access to a lot of other skills. Although, sadly, he doesn't have access to any, like... He doesn't have access to... Actually, no, not really. I can't really say that's sad. I was really hoping he'd get Super Vanishing Ball and, freaking, what is that move called? That Raditz skill. Saturday Crash. I'm surprised he didn't get that. But, let's be honest here, he got Handy Cannon. He doesn't need a skill like that. Because he got this nonsense. It just gives him access to so many other combo routes. so easily compared to canceling variant drive. Now, the variant drive cancel does still come into play, don't get me wrong, but this is just so much more effective than using variant drive to cancel every single time. These moves are also much safer than variant drive. This can be canceled immediately into blocking and stepping, pretty much. Like, you're never punishing a handy cannon. Just plain and simple. Same with the destructive ray. You can punish it, don't get me wrong, but if you block this thing, it is 100% safe on block. I can immediately dash if it hits you, even when you guard, even when you perfect block it. And I can even loop it, as you can see here. Look at that. You can even loop this thing if you want. Like, it's like a pseudo loop. It's weird how it works. I can sometimes get it to work consistently. It's just stupid. But enough of that. Now let's get into the tech that I know with this guy, and that I personally just do with this guy whenever I use him. I will turn recovery off for this. Alrighty then. The first one that I know is this. Oh, hold on a sec. Not that. After that sweep, you key blast really fast, you can restand them after that. And also, after this combo here, if you spend the bar and then immediately back hit, you can restand them after that as well. That's two tech that I know with them. Now the other method is this. If you, it's weird. This one is very, very weird. There. If you time it correctly, you actually can land a back hit after that combo. Though keep in mind, it's very odd how you perform it. And sometimes they can just hit from behind like that. It's weird. But it is a setup that you can do. Then the other thing that you can do is this. Oh, hold on. You gotta time this correctly. And this actually can be quite iffy online, so keep that in mind. What I'm doing there... this is tech that Toxic Karma showed me a while back. Shout out to him. But what I'm doing there is, after I shoot the Ki Blast, I am simply holding my circle button up and then letting go of it as soon as I start hitting light. And because of the way that works, it ends up making me go behind you like that. So whenever I send the Ki Blast over your head after this combo, it allows me to set up a back hit chain a lot like that. And you can do whatever you want after that. Then the other thing that you can do is this. Because that sends them over the Ki Blast over their head, you can set up a key slide, as you see right there. I'll do it again real quick. And you can actually do it like that as well, though it's a little bit more tricky to do it if you do a sidestep one like that. And it's not as consistent, so keep that in mind. It's much easier to do it like this instead. And you can do whatever you want after that. Now, another thing that you can do is this. And this is a little bit unorthodox, and it involves the same tech that I did before, this tech right here, except you do it with Destructive Ray. You go over them, go over their head. You can also kind of just do this if you want with Destructive Ray. You can go over their head like that, but it's much easier to do it like this instead. Though this is a little bit inconsistent, so keep that in mind. If you want to actually land the Destructive Ray, you gotta do it fast if you want to actually get it off. And if you want, you actually can link this into a stamina break combo like this. You just get his recovery off real quick. Look at that. Ain't that sick? That's pretty dang sick, don't you think? Yeah, that's pretty sick that you're able to do that. Though keep in mind, tossing a Ki Blast over somebody's head like that online can be tricky, and sometimes not even possible depending on the lag. The amount of lag will if there is a stupid amount of lag present, it'll make the hitbox of the Ki Blast a bit too big to perform it. Because you want to perfectly make that Ki Blast whiff over their head in order to perform that back hit slide. Alright. Then the other tech that I know with him is this. This one's hard to do, so keep that in mind. But you can actually do that. But the main thing that I do is this. And you gotta do this very fast. If you want to get this to work properly, you gotta do it fast, but sometimes it is impossible to get it to work, even if you get them at the maximum minimal stamina they can possess. But you can see it is a tech setup that you can do right there. And if you want, you can also do this. And some of you may have seen me do this in my combo videos. Oh, not that. Excuse me. This here. You can go into the shockwave instead. Although keep in mind, if they want, they can vanish out of that. You can also do a tech like that if you want instead. And this is something you can do before stamina breaking them. Though, if you really want to maximize what you can do, I would definitely stamina break them first before trying this tech. And you can also do it after this if you want to say, for example, if you wanted to do this, for example, you could go into it after that axe kick instead, though they have to be stamina broken for that to work. Keep that in mind. And if you want, you can also charge the blast after that combo, like this. for a little bit of extra disrespect and damage. Though once again, if you really want to maximize what you can do, I would suggest breaking their stamina before trying this. Because otherwise, you're not going to be able to get much off of it. Because they will be able to vanish. Now, the next tech that I know with him is this. And I'm going to turn recovery off for this. If you were to do a combo like this, for example, you gotta be at a pretty decent distance. You gotta be at a pretty good amount of what is the word I'm looking for? Altitude. You gotta be at a high altitude to make this work. Then another one I have is this. If you actually time it correctly, it can actually get like a half vanish here. For those of you who don't know what a half vanish is, it's this. Though with speed type, it's a little bit difficult to do. It's a lot easier to do this on the base variation of Baby. That's what I was trying to do right there. It's not really necessary for you to do that, but it is a tech that you can perform. But what I was trying to show you earlier is this. Oi! You can't be behind them. If you're behind them, they'll fall to the ground too fast. Keep that in mind. Like I said, you've got to be at a decent amount of altitude. Because if you're not, they're going to fall to the ground too fast. See? Because of the way that Ki Blasts work, because they knock you out of combos, it makes it very hard to do this with Baby. I don't know why Dimps decided to make it work that way. But I do believe I can probably land it around here. There we go. And you can go into that if you want. And then a Super Gal again after that. You can also do a quick little circle after Destructive Ray like that. You can also kind of do this if you want. Destructive Ray's got a lot of utility. But the main way that you want to do that is with the tech that I showed you before, this. But anyways, that is all the tech I know with Baby that you can do without reverse shot. So that's it for the video, everybody. I thank you all for watching. If you watched this video, please like it, share it maybe, and subscribe if you are new to my channel for more of this content from me. It really helps, all the support. It really helps a lot. Never thought I'd be able to get over 500 so quick. And I appreciate everything that you guys have done. And so, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.